take my money when I'm in need.
Because people used to come, like when I worked at a club, they would come and literally trip over themselves when they push the door and see the two of us sitting at the bar. Literally trip over their feet. So outrageous was this new liaison here, because that wasn't happening in those days.
With the recent release of the Bob Marley biopic, One Love, a lot has been said and brought to the surface, and one such argument orbits around Cindy Breakspeare, former Miss World, and the mother of quite possible the most famous Marley offspring, Damian Jr. Gong Marley. Besides the comparisons and debate surrounding her and Bob's lawful wife, Rita, many are now saying that Cindy's intentions were not so pure towards Bob Marley to begin with. An account, it seems, was affirmed years ago by Don Taylor, Bob Marley's former manager, who wrote in his 1995 biography, Marley and Me. Cindy would not give Bob the time of day until she found out that he had purchased Island House from Chris Blackwell, 56 Hope Road, now the Bob Marley Museum, where she had rented an apartment. So with that factor alone, and the caliber of men she was known to associate with prior and while dealing with Marley, the current question seems to be heading in the direction of, was she just a gold digger or an opportunist who got caught up in the Bob Marley whirlwind? Listen carefully and let us know what you think in the comments section.
Yeah, that's
all right. So you've said in the past that you grew into a rebellious teenager, and you were fascinated by men. Where do you think that fascination came from?
Oh, I have no idea. Their delightfulness, it could only be.
So can you describe for me your first time ever meeting Bob?
Well, actually, I think I was in the company of Danny Sims, who managed Bob for a short time. And he was here in Jamaica, and he had rented a house to stay in up on Russell Heights. So a group of us were hanging out and, up all night getting on bad. And at about, I don't know, maybe as late as 5 o'clock in the morning, there was a knock on the door.
Wow.
I don't think I actually really met Bob. Danny went to the door, had a short conversation, came back. Maybe as late as 5 o'clock in the morning, there was a knock on the door.
Wow.
I don't think I actually really met Bob. Danny went to the door, had a short conversation, came back. And he said, you know who that was? That was Bob Marley. He always used to say Marley, but he was American, of course.
Okay.
And he's going to be a big star one day. That was his synopsis of who Bob was. And I guess I would have to say I began to get to know him when I went to 56 Hope Road to live.
Got you.
You know?
All right. So what role did this guy play in your life?
Mickey Horton James. Mickey Bix, I call him. Well, he changed my life. Mickey came and spotted me and took me out of a job and convinced me that what I needed to do was to come and work with him at Spartan and train, and then he was going to enter me in a series of pageants. Mickey really charted my course for me during 1976. We started with Miss Jamaica Body Beautiful. We moved on to Miss Universe Bikini in London, and then came Miss World. But Mickey was really my guide, my motivation, my encouragement. Yeah, Mickey got me there.
Awesome.
Love my mix.
All right. What does the name Oscar Heidenstam mean to you?
Well, Oscar Heidenstam was the organizer and operator of the Miss Universe Bikini pageant in London, which I also won. That's the one that Mickey Horton James was looking to get me to.
Right.
Because that was really a bodybuilding pageant.
Right.
And so when we got there and I won that, Oscar said to Mickey, Mickey, you should really try and get her into Miss World because she'd probably do very well. And I'm sure if you contacted them, they would accept her as the entrant from Jamaica. Now, at that time, we weren't sending anybody anymore. The government had stopped it.
Because of apartheid.
Yes, and there was a feeling that, you know, certain skin color, black girls were being discriminated against, whatever.
Right.
There was only politics involved and what have you.
Right.
And Mickey went out on a limb, contacted the Miss World organization, and they said, sure, we'll have her as long as Jamaica is good with it, because you have to wear the sash of a country.
Right.
You can't just go there as Miss Stony Hill. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Mickey propelled me into that place.
All right, cool. All right, so 17 years after you won the title, Lisa Hannah won the title.
She did.
Do you remember where you were when she was crowned?
I was at Jamaica Inn, as a matter of fact, in Ocho Rios, spending the weekend. My husband and myself.
How did you initially meet Tom Tavares Vincent?
Oh, from before I became Miss World. We had mutual friends. I was introduced to him by a girlfriend when I was actually living at 56 Hope Road. And we all used to hang out together, just a group of friends. And I would see him, he was at law school in London when I won Miss World. So there again, we would hang together as a group of friends. So.
All right, so was Tom a fan of Bob?
Absolutely, who is not? Who is not a fan of Bob? You show me one person, I challenge you.
All right, so do you have any regrets?
Not too many, you know. I think it would be dishonest of anyone, anywhere in the world, to say that they don't regret something or the other. You know, there will always be something that you wish you could change, always. But I think that rings true for most of us. So nothing monumental.
All right, so what comes to mind when you see this?
Or the blue Ford Transit van. Funny, it looks so bright in this picture. Actually, the top of it was the right color. It was a powder blue. Well, I wanted to make furniture out of driftwood. And he kept hearing me say, you know, I need a vehicle that I can go out to Hellshire, Far Beach, what we used to call Far Beach, and dig up a really big piece of driftwood, beautifully weathered in the sand from years of the water and the sand washing over it. And they were there, I had seen them, so I knew they existed. But how am I bringing it back into town? So one day, this blue powder van just drives up, out he jumps, walks inside, hands me the keys, and says, I don't come for stopping, I just dropping off this. So I said, so what is this? He said, well, don't you say you need a big vehicle to go to the beach, go take up things, we'll see there. And off he went. Somebody had driven up behind him. He just took him right back off, back in the vehicle. Obviously, he was in the middle of something. He just wanted to deliver it to me. And I stood there, scraped my jaw up off of the floor, and headed for the beach.
Did Bob ever tell you he loved you?
Of course. But absolutely. We would say it all the time, over the phone, face to face.
All right.
Of course.
All right. What was the most fun part of your relationship with Bob?
The making of the music, I guess, the shows. You know, there were two sides to it. There was that and the growth of his, I don't want to say stardom, because that's not what I really mean. Stardom is a very funny word. You have a lot of people now who are stars who are not really contributing anything significant to the world. You understand? Not really. Not really. Not in any lasting way.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, walk good.